He's gonna hang himself at this point already. It's over.
This is true.
What's going on, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? My name is Mike Jimenez. Joe Garcia producing today's show. This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from West San Antonio, West Bexar County, also represented. We love San Antonio. We love the Spurs. We love the Roadrunners. We love the Missions. We love Balapeño and the Coyote. It is a Flashback Friday today, and right out the gate, we have Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 to join us for the first 15 minutes of the show. It's a Flashback Friday because typically, back in the day, San Antonio Sports Star style, I would do nostalgic movie reviews, right?
Yeah.
And that was part of the show. It was a fun bit, and it was no bullshit. I didn't watch a lot of movies growing up, but now that I think about it, I didn't watch a lot of TV either.
Oh my God.
Unless it was a baseball game or a basketball game. So I watched for the first time today, this morning, paid $1.99 on Amazon to watch Knight Rider, David Hasselhoff, a 1982 classic. The first episode, the pilot episode, if you will.
Should I do the retro movie review?
Let's do
jingle?
it. Let's do the jingle.
All right, let's do it. It goes with it, man.
I like it. I like it. The retro review.
All right, there we go.
On a Flashback Friday.
And you know what? Since Jeff is joining us, we got to bring him in too. So we're going to introduce you proper. Oh, hold on.
Not the music. Not the music.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Here comes the money, 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 money.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Cash money, baby. Yeah, Jeff Garcia ain't about money that jingles. It's all about the money that folds with Jeff Garcia. What's going on, my man?
Nothing much, buddy. Thank y'all for accommodating my schedule. My Friday is not gonna let up, man. I am so busy in about 10, 15 minutes. So I appreciate y'all.
No,
Yeah,
understood.
well, thank you for joining us.
So let's get right to it because typically we do the sports first and then the pop culture, but we'll do the Flashback Friday. Knight Rider, which came out in 1982, starring David Hasselhoff. I knew a little bit about the show in the sense that, you know, it's about a car that talks, right? But I had never seen an episode ever before until this morning. Are you surprised by that at all, Jeff?
And now that I've known you for a while now, no, I'm not surprised you haven't seen it at all. I'm not. But I'm also, I was telling Joe, I'm glad that you didn't see it, but I'm also glad that I'm also upset that you haven't. Like, I'm upset that you haven't seen it because where were you? And I get it. You're outside playing sports, but so was I. I was doing the same thing too. And then I'm also okay with you not seeing it because there's some seasons where it gets kind of cringy. But
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I only saw the first episode, which, by the way, I have my notes here. Premiered on September 26, 1982. Michael Jimenez, MJ Acquired Taste, was just 5 years old when it came out. And it stars David Hasselhoff as Officer Michael Long. I thought he had a different name, but he's Officer Michael Long. And he's a police officer who's trying to bust somebody at a casino, right? And there's like some national secrets that are inside of a safe. And in the whole process and the whole chase and whatnot, a lot of hot chicks, by the way, you know, in the first episode. But he gets shot, right? He gets ambushed, shot in the face. Apparently, was he a former Vietnam vet? Was that the storyline? That's kind of like how he.
I don't recall, but I do remember. I know you're going to touch it in a bit. He does like, I guess, cosmetic surgery, and doesn't he turn like the actor's face is like radically different?
Yeah, so he apparently has a different face and a different look and all that stuff, and it's just. By the way, I got some video coming up of Knight Rider
all right,
here.
Show it.
The Trans Am, which, by the way, was the badass
car.
The
wrong thing.
Which was the badass car of the 1980s. By the way, this is the first episode here where he falls asleep at the wheel and police are driving by. They see that he's asleep and they're wowed by the fact that the car is still on the road because it was twisting and turning and the car took over for itself. Now, apparently Hasselhoff is declared dead. So people think that he's dead. They saved his life, and they're saying, hey, look, one man can make a difference when it comes to fighting crime. And also they wanted to avenge the death of the billionaire's partner. So they asked him to kind of be this hero, if you will. And they introduced him to a Trans Am, which, by the way, is badass. Okay, that is a badass.
Yes, it is.
My favorite thing about it is that when he walks in, Michael Hasselhoff jumps into the car. The first thing he says is something to the effect of, "What is this? Darth Vader's bathroom?"
Yeah, and I love the meeting, the first meeting between Michael Knight and Kit.
Yeah,
It's like in an empty warehouse. It's just them two. Like spotlights are shining on Knight, and then the car rolls in. Well, the introduction of the car is pretty cool because it's hidden in the black shadows, and the light comes on.
Yeah, and it's so funny because it already has the license plate that says Knight on it, which was pretty cool. And he's trying to figure out like this car. Apparently, Kit is the first Siri or Alexa because he says, "I'd like to hear some music right now." He's looking for the radio, and Kit's like, "What would you like to hear?"
Yeah.
And they start playing the Eagles, and they start playing Fleetwood Mac, which is so 1982 because those songs had come out just a few years prior. But it was funny, man. There was some interesting parts. The whole part with the police that we're showing right now, where he pretends that he's deaf, and Kit's telling him, deny everything, and is giving him like the whole idea of pretend like you're deaf and you couldn't hear it. Such a stupid scene, an insanely stupid scene. But the whole idea of him getting with the car, telling the car, "I want to drive, I want to be in control," and Kit's like, I can do this, and how they went around a car at 150 miles an hour, and that Kit is faithful to Knight Rider. He's faithful to Michael Knight by saying that only he will be protected, that no other person will be able to drive him necessarily, drive Kit. That it's faithful to him. It will make sure that he doesn't get hurt. He's not going to do evasive moves. May get to 200 miles an hour, 250 miles an hour, but will always have his safety in mind. And okay. So first episode, I'm going to be honest with you, I really liked it, dude. I really liked it. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to like season 5 or 6, or even I'm going to go that deep, but I'm going to tell you what got me going, man. Got my juices flowing was the music. Oh my god!
That intro is one of the top intros of the '80s for a cartoon, for a TV series.
Hey, that one and Airwolf were pretty good.
Yeah. Those are pretty good. But Jimenez, again, I'm glad you just saw the first few because even I got to be honest, there's some seasons where it gets cringy, and the fight choreography is not that good as the season continues.
Hey, the fight choreography sucked in The Godfather too. I mean, yeah. But what I found to be interesting is that I remember growing up back in the day playing the video game Spy Hunter.
Oh,
and that is another great song to a driving thing.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, it's great. But I thought for a pilot episode it was funny. I thought it was more cerebral than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be just completely stupid. Now it had some silly moments, but I thought that it reminded me a little bit of the Twilight Zone, because they saved this guy. He has a metal plate in his head, and you're legally dead, but we're going to use you for this, that, and the other. We're going to use you for good, kind of like they're trying to create their own Batman.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Kit, by the way, I remember growing up in this time frame. Remember back in the day playing the game MASH, where they're going to live in a mansion, apartment, shack, or house, and you had to pick like what girls you wanted to marry, and you would play that game to narrow it down. When it came to the car I always wanted to land on was the Trans Am. I think that's why I liked the show so much, was because that is a badass Trans Am.
Yeah, it is a very, very nice Trans Am. A couple of things too. Kit's voice is actually Principal Finney from Boy Meets Girl.
Really?
Boy Meets World. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's Principal Finney's voice. So he's the actor behind Kit's voice. And another reason why it's very beloved to me and to Joe and everybody else who saw it is because a movie of Knight Rider was made in San Antonio. A full-on feature-length movie.
It wasn't very good.
It wasn't very good, but I mean, Knight Rider does the franchise has ties to San Antonio.
Kit was at the
Riverwalk?
Yeah.
Where was I in all this?
Well, Jimenez, they had shut down all of St. Mary Street because they were going to place the new look kit car, which was all red this time, and it was it floats down the Riverwalk.
Wow.
Here's the other thing too. There was a movie fight in River Center Mall. There was a kind of a shootout on the Riverwalk. Everything kind of happens at the tower, like Tower of the America. That's where everything happens. And according to the movie, which was called Knight Rider 2000, San Antonio is the city of the future. No kidding.
Really?
Yep.
Well, they were right because we got Victor Wembanyama years later. Talking to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. My son, Jesus Sith, asked the question, which was the better vehicle, the
Kit or the
Kit
DeLorean?
or the DeLorean from Back to the Future?
Kit.
I'm going to say
like
Kit. Now, speaking
as far as looks are concerned, Kit. But technological stuff, I would go with the DeLorean.
Now, on Flashback Friday, speaking of great vehicles from the 80s, if you can show my screen, I want to buy this so bad. This is my midlife crisis.
God.
The pickup truck from Back to the Future, Marty McFly's truck.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Okay, it's like a 1984 pickup truck.
That bad boy's probably like 50 G's, something like that.
I saw
nice.
one online that they were selling for about 28 to 30.
Really?
But most of them were going for the 40 route, and it's called the Back to the Future truck. That's how they pimp it. They're like, this is the vehicle that Marty McFly had. That is a badass truck, man. Imagine it probably has a cassette deck in there. Now, if I was to buy, if I bought this, would I keep it authentic with like no air conditioning or very bad air conditioning, or would I modify the insides so that I would have like a CD player,
man,
or have not a CD player? Who carries a CD player? So that I could have like a GPS or whatnot, or do I have to keep it the way that it was in 1985? Man. Sith says Marty Jimenez. That's right, baby.
Marty Jimenez.
So if given the choice between the 1982 Trans Am or the 1984 KC truck that you see over here, which one would you rather have, Jeff?
Oh, give me the Trans Am. That's more my speed right there.
Come on, Jeff, man. Jeff would rather have that Trans Am. You know this.
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong either way, but it has to be jet black.
Yeah.
Yes, it has to be jet black. You can actually buy kits, no pun intended, to add the light effect on any car. Like there's like these kits that you can actually buy and put the little strobing red light on cars.
What? This is a great poll for our Twitter, is asking the question, would you rather have the Trans Am that was kit, or would you rather have the Marty McFly's pickup truck? Because we are in Texas, and in Texas, San Antonio, we like our trucks. And I'm just thinking about it, the whole point of Back to the Future, one of the things that Marty wanted to do was he wanted to bang his chick in the back of the truck. That's why he wanted the truck. So you've got it's easier to get it on and mark your territory, if you will, on the pickup truck than it is the Trans Am. Trans Am, you're not getting much done, at least not at my weight.
Well, look, I mean, I like that sleek style, futuristic look. So that's why I'm going to go with the Trans Am. But
Jeff likes it built for speed. You know this.
Oh, I know. And
yeah. I mean, that's also a reflection of that aspect too.
Tim Gonzalez reaches out to us on our YouTube stream saying Moneybags has a black private plane somewhere.
well, here's the thing too. A little more about the series Knight Rider. I mean, it gets into cringe territory because they introduce this evil character, like his nemesis, if you will, and all it is David Hasselhoff and a mustache. That's the only difference.
That's pretty bad, dude.
It's pretty bad.
It was Car, right? Car.
Okay.
Car. No. He drove Goliath.
Oh, Goliath. That's what it was.
Yeah, he drove Goliath. Now, Car came later.
Yeah.
So
but this series actually spawned a lot of the human and vehicle TV series. Like you had what's that, Street Hawk?
Yeah.
Which was a motorcycle and a guy. You had Airwolf, which was a helicopter and a guy. Of course, you had, Michael Knight and Kit. That was the OG.
I'm gonna throw some other ones at you, Jeff. People are asking about Christine, the car from Christine, the 1958 Plymouth Fury.
Yeah.
Or what about the General Lee?
Hey. That one's pretty good. Look at what Rudy says. Rudy Campos Jr., our good friend from over at Sweep the League. He's saying Airwolf, Kit, Smokey and the Bandit, Trans Am are the top 3 in that order.
Smokey and the Bandit. I did watch that movie growing up, man. That was one that I did
Burt
watch.
Reynolds?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You know you got a little chub with that car, bro.
No,
Come
I got
on.
a chuck with Sally Field, man. She was
Oh,
a nugget back in the day, dude.
Even if
I
she
don't
came in
know
that
about
series,
that.
she came out way back in the day. Gidget.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever
She
saw
when she was built for speed before, many years before being Forrest Gump's mom, dude. Sally Field brought it. Now she wasn't Heather Thomas, she wasn't Heather Locklear, she wasn't any of the Charlie's Angels girls.
That's why I tell you to watch that.
But she was kind of like a girl next door hot. Is what she was.
Man, Midtown Texas. I'm a Herbie the Love Bug type of guy. Oh, look at that. We got a new entry. The Batmobile #1 seat.
Yeah, but the Batmobile is a fake vehicle. It doesn't exist. It's not a Trans Am. It's not a Porsche. It's just a.
It's got to be. You got to be grounded in. Well, not really, because
like
Kit is not really grounded in reality. I mean, I guess nowadays it probably can be argued that the concept of
it was
Kit
ahead of its
doesn't
time.
exist.
Okay,
Yeah.
so but the Trans Am actually existed. You could go on and buy the Trans
Yeah.
Am.
Yes.
You could buy Marty McFly's pickup truck. You could go buy the Love Bug. You could go buy all of that stuff.
How much do you think those Trans Ams cost nowadays? If you
No,
just
they're
get
probably
one?
they're rare nowadays. They're rare nowadays, Jeff, because
Yeah.
they're going to be up there in price. But look at Gert Vanderkrift here joining us from the Netherlands. He says the A-Team van. He's throwing that into
AT
the
van
frame.
was good. Yep.
That was a good
Yeah.
one.
Well,
that was a good one.
according to Classic.com, the 1982 Trans Am, depending on its how nice it is depending on the style, and also whether it's fair condition, good condition, or great condition, can range anywhere between $29,000 and $83,000.
Jeez.
Pass. No way.
Oh, Coach Gio from Sweep the League. He's making fun of Rudy. He says, Rudy, how old are you again? And look at this. Christopher Leja, give me the Gran Torino from Starsky and Hutch. Hey, that's a good one, too.
Check this out, dude. 1982 Firebird Trans Am, just 22,000 miles on it. It's the kit car. Someone wants $99,900 for it.
Jeez.
Pass.
Oh, look at this one.
No, my dad has one of his biggest regrets in life is that he had one of the original Ford Mustangs that came off the assembly line, and he sold it. He said that's one of his biggest regrets.
Hey, check out this one, Jeff. This would be Michael's ride right here. Mike, this is your ride.
The Shaggy
Dumb and
van?
Dumber Shaggy Dog van. Because you like animals, you have a lot of dogs, so that'd be perfect for you.
If I can go into fantasy world vehicles, for me, like fantasy world doesn't exist in reality. Yeah, obviously they're like the Batmobile, but my top 3 fantasy cars. #1 would be the Tumbler from Batman Begins. #2 will be the Thunder Tank from Thundercats, and #3 will be the Party Wagon from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, nice. Barrett Jackson, a dealership that does auctions for collector cars, says the 1985 Toyota SR5 pickup truck, known as the Back to the Future tribute truck 4x4, was sold for $71,500.
Good Lord.
My goodness.
Good Lord.
What a good looking truck that is. It's a 5-speed manual. Man, I'm gonna have to drive manual. Jeez. I don't know how to drive.
You know how to drive stick, Jimenez?
No, I don't, man.
I do. I know how to drive stick.
Yeah, you should word that a little bit differently, man. We use the word standard and automatic around here.
Mike's always got to make it weird.
This is how old I am.
Yeah.
I remember renting a car recently and looking for the keyhole, looking for the key. And I had to figure out, no, you have to press a button. I had no idea.
I should let him get into the caddy, right? I'll pull up in my caddy and say, hey, Jeff, you're going to be driving today. He won't know how to start it.
I'm going to want you to read Chris Leja's comment. I ain't going to do it.
The bang bus.
Oh, no. You know, Swiss is going to meme something like that.
I'm waiting. I'm going to tell him right after the show. I'm going to say, put Mike's face on Marty McFly with that freaking stupid ass vest.
The vest of the suspenders.
Exactly.
Did you just jump ship?
What did they call
Give
you?
me a tab.
What did they call you? Mike Marty or what did they call you?
What's it called? It was
I don't know.
Jimenez McFly or something like
Yeah.
that. That's Michael McFly, I think is what it is.
Yeah,
Michael
Michael
McFly.
McFly. Michael
Yeah.
McFly.
Coach Gio
Well,
reaches
you-
out to us. By the way, Coach Gio, oftentimes with Rudy Campos Jr., Sweep the League, 2:00, this network, saying the DeLorean from Back to the Future. Now, didn't Tony Parker buy one of the DeLoreans
Mhm.
from?
He did.
He did. Yeah.
And that vehicle, as cool as it looks with a door that swung upwards,
The gull wing
was
doors.
a piece of shit, wasn't it?
It was the motor was garbage, and the whole car was plagued with issues because it was pushed to production. It was like, I think it was a 4-cylinder engine that they had, plagued with being underpowered, and they couldn't really push that vehicle at high speeds at all, you know. But people after the fact have gone in there and fixed up the issues that plagued the engine, gave it more horsepower, and now it's really a drivable vehicle. But yeah, back in the day, if you were one of the unfortunate people who bought it, it was plagued with issues out the door.
Can I give a tall tale?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I have a family member who bought Dylan McKay's Porsche from 90210.
Oh God.
And it's currently, he's renovating it right now. I have a family member who bought that car and is going to renovate it for daily use, or maybe not daily use, but when like on the weekends and whatnot. But I'm taking a look at it. That was Dylan's car from 90210 back in the day. They used a few of them, and I have a family member who bought one of them. So it was driven by Luke Perry back in the day. Very, very, very cool.
Mike
Tall
needs the
tale.
Jeepers Creepers truck. Look at this one, Jeff. Remember this one, the station wagon from National Lampoon's Vacation.
Oh yes. Yeah. What was it? The 3000 SUX, something like that, like something like really ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a piece of.
Wasn't
crap.
the gas tank was on the hood?
Yeah, it was dumb, man.
Did you ever having to pump gas from the back?
Yes.
That was crazy, man.
Yep.
That was crazy. Oh, I thought of another tall tale.
Here we go.
Tell me if you believe that this is true. The music video to Lady Gaga's Poker Face. Remember that video?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was filmed at my daughter's aunt's house. That is her swimming pool back there. And my daughter has photos of her enjoying 4th of July and whatnot, because she would go to her aunt's house. And I'm going to play the music video right now. That is her aunt's house. That is the aunt's swimming pool. If you want to show the video that I've got. Midtown Texas says Michael Jimenez's cousin owns the Porsche from Ferris Bueller. No, but this right here is let me go back. Is my ex-wife's cousin's house, but my daughter refers to her as aunt. And this house was actually featured in 3 episodes of CSI Miami. And my daughter would go to 4th of July over there because she'd like to celebrate over there. This is in Malibu, California. Long story short, she also has a photograph of her in a parade going up and down the streets in Malibu as a 4th of July parade. And Anthony Kiedis is in the golf cart next to her, singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Tall tale or not, I'll get my daughter on the phone. She'll verify all of this information.
Tall tale.
Dude, my mom and dad have been to this house. I've never been to this house, but my mom and dad have been there. My Aunt Mary, my Uncle Nathal have all been to that house.
Noah Bettis says we need the evidence, and then Charlie Hernandez says, "Nah, that tale is too tall."
Now, I didn't say it was Lady Gaga's house. It's just like Lady Gaga and her people rented their house to film the video.
Look at Jonathan Sear, and I love this comment, Jeff. Michael Jimenez's cousin owns the 18-wheeler that turns into Optimus Prime.
Looking for the Allspark.
Yeah.
Oh, Christopher Lea's on one. Someone get a plunger. Jimenez has a lot of shit in his mouth.
Do you know what I'm going to do?
Oh.
You know what I'm going to do? I am going to have one of these days. I'm going to have a full-on tall tale thing where I'm going to bring in evidence, people who are witnesses and whatnot, and we're going to reach out to them. They're going to get on the StreamYard. They're going to call in, and they're going to talk to us about it. They're going to verify a lot of this information. Like my daughter can verify that she's been at this pool that Lady Gaga is swimming at, because that's her uncle and aunt's house.
Yeah.
My parents have been there. My parents have,
Where is their house? Like in California or something like
it's,
that?
in, it's in Malibu.
Malibu? Okay.
And guess what they do for a living, by the way? How they're able to afford this. They own a company called Party Time Karaoke, spelled Tyme. And it is a karaoke. So if you go to like Target or Walmart, you're buying karaoke CDs to like have at home, or you go to a bar and it says like, they create it, they buy the rights to the song, they do an in-house music for it, they design the screen and whatnot, to the bouncing ball and all that stuff. They do karaoke, and they've made millions of dollars doing it over the years. And they ended up buying a house in Malibu, California, that has the Spanish Miami style shingles.
Okay.
And because of that, it's one of the few houses in Malibu that looks like Miami. So that's why CSI Miami was filmed at her aunt's house 3 times. And that's why Poker Face was filmed there. And that is also why magazines have filmed in their house before and whatnot. Not a tall tale. It's not my family. It's my daughter's family.
They're getting you good right now in the chat, man. Some of this stuff is funny,
Sith saying Michael wasn't allowed on the set. He kept trying to poke Poker Face. that reminds me of that old Lady Gaga joke. How do you wake up Lady Gaga? Poker Face.
Oh God.
God.
But with what?
Yeah. Jeff, come get your boy, man.
Oh, Mario Cavazos. Mike's best tall tale is him not letting Mario Lopez play in the 6 foot and under basketball tournament. Okay, dude. I'll give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Well, actually, guys, I have to hit the eject cord here. So
Jeff has to bump off.
I got to bump off, guys. I got to take off, guys.
All right,
but,
Jeff.
Way to go, Jimenez. I'm glad you saw some Knight Rider. Good for you. I would keep it at that, though, because I think you would change your grade or your thoughts on it as the season progresses.
All right.
But I appreciate it. And, talk to y'all soon.
All right, Jeff. Talk to you later.
All right, so I got my friend Rick. I'm going to put you on speakerphone real fast, okay? We're going to dispel one of the tall tales.
Oh, I don't. You don't have the other connection.
No, I know. Okay, so did we or did we not meet Mario Lopez? And did we or did we not tell him he couldn't play? Tell the story.
Yeah, we met Mario Lopez at the All-Star game. It was a 3-on-3 tournament, basketball tournament that we played.
And he wanted to play with us, correct?
Yes.
And now I wasn't the one who told him he couldn't play, but that was you who told him he couldn't play. Tell the whole story about the whole thing that went down.
Well, basically, a short version of the story is that we had our team, and we already had like a winning streak going in the tournament. And I didn't know that he wanted to be on our team for publicity. Nobody told me. And other people knew, were talking about it, but I didn't know. So basically, he was just coming up to us wanting to play. And then I just told him, I was like, because he was going to be able to knock one of our teammates was not going to be able to play in the tournament if he played. So basically, I just told him, look, you can't play on our team. And he just was like, just got basically a surprise look on his face.
Joe, did that come out? Could people hear that?
They can hear it, but I think it's still a mamada, dude. I don't believe it.
Okay. Thanks, Rick. I appreciate it. All right. So you see that? So who said there that was the best one? That was the biggest tall tale. So I'll go on with that story. So that's my friend Richard, right? So we were playing a 3-on-3 tournament at the All-Star Weekend at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. And we were advancing throughout the ranks. So we went from like the round of 64 to the round of 32. And when we got to a certain level, Mario Lopez appeared on the court. And there was a lot of publicity there because people were wanting to watch him play. And long story short, they told us he can play with you guys, but if you guys win, you can't advance to the semifinals, because he's an ineligible player. And my friend Rick, dude, just went up to him and said, "Look, dog, you can't play on our team, all right?" And I'll never forget the look on his face when Rick was like, "Look, dog, you can't play on our team, all right?" And people booed us the entire time we played. Every time we touched the ball, the whole fucking arena booed us, man. It wasn't like we were like in an arena. We had probably about 100 people watching us, but they hated the fact that Mario Lopez was on the side not playing. Now, one of the reasons also why we didn't want him to play was because we saw him warm up with us, and the guy couldn't make a shot to save his life. He was an awful basketball player. I'm sure he plays other sports well.
Man.
Apparently he's a wrestler, but basketball was not his thing. My friend Rick told him, you can't play on our team. Nick
Don't
Madison
know about
asking the
that.
question, is ex-family still family? Well, it depends. I get along very well with my ex-wife's family, and then my future ex-wife's family I get along with very well with now. It just is what it is. Chris Gonzalez says, Mike is that guy that starts a story with my cousin's boyfriend's uncle's former roommate's sister.
Yep.
Oh, well, let's dovetail into this.
Oh,
Let's dovetail into this. The same aunt that lives in that house that Lady Gaga performed Poker Face on for her music video introduced me, my ex-wife, and my young daughter Gabby, who's now a graduate of LSU, introduced us to Carrie Underwood when Carrie Underwood was here in San Antonio, and we hung out for about half an hour with her. And she was the nicest celebrity I've ever met, is Carrie Underwood. And she wasn't the Carrie Underwood of now. She was, she had just won American Idol, so she was still that down-to-earth girl. She isn't the celebrity, singing the Sunday Night Football song. She was just some girl who was really nice, who was really into country music. She was really cool. Chris Gonzalez says, I saw Bigfoot off of 151 in 1604.
My God. No, man. That they even said that was just nothing but lies, bro.
Yeah, Mario Cavasso saying, AC Slater got you. Charlie saying bullies. I think this is funny, man, because we've gone from a sports podcast to we're 35 minutes in. We've talked about Kit, the DeLorean from Back to the Future. We've talked about Back to the Future's truck. We've talked about Lady Gaga, the tall tales that are Jimenez. I even brought a friend on. Did he rehearse that with me? No. I called him on the spot. I said, Rick, remember when we had that encounter with Mario Lopez? And could people hear that? Because I had it on speakerphone.
Yeah, we have a cable here, and then I got you for next time with your iPhone.
Yeah. But people could hear it well enough, right? Yeah. So these tall tales are not tall tales. It's just shit I don't have evidence of because cell phones didn't exist, or I didn't have a camera on with me, or anything like that.
Speaking of tall tales, man, I was watching random videos last night, right? After our little Udo Network meetup, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at random stuff, man. And I'm going to talk with Brandon Medina about this for his show.
Yeah.
Because he likes talking about UFOs, aliens, and conspiracy theories and stuff. But one of my favorite singers from one of my favorite bands, Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan went on the Howard Stern show. I think it was like in 2017 or something, right? He was doing an interview with the guy. And he said, Billy straight up tells him a story about when he saw a shapeshifter or something like that.
Oh, really?
In front of him. And it was a celebrity that shifted shape or something. It's a wild story, man. I get with my boy Brandon. And we can say, do you all call bullshit or not?
Okay, well, how about this?
That's like a tall tale.
Have you all ever had like something very weird happen to you where either, your life was in danger or whatever the case may be? One time when I was growing up, I had this one girlfriend that I would sneak out of the house to go see. Okay. Middle of the night, I'd want to go make out with her, fool around with her, whatever the case may be. She'd sneak out of her house. I'd sneak out of mine. And I would drive over there, dude. I would get in my car. I would roll it down the street so that it wouldn't start in the driveway. I would put it in neutral. I'd push it out. I'd roll it like 3 houses down. And then when I came home, I would stop my car and I would roll it back into the driveway so that no one could hear that I was gone, right?
Yeah.
Well, one day that I went out there. I was leaving the area that we met up at. And I was kind of like in the Grissom, Culebra area, and back then it wasn't as developed as it is now. This was in the mid 90s. Wasn't as developed as it is now, and it was pouring rain, and I somehow ended up in a neighborhood that was like under construction, and I was like, oh, I took the wrong turn, and I swung back around, and I was waiting for like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes to get past the red light.
Yeah.
But do you ever like look around and think to yourself, I'll just run this thing, But I didn't want to get a ticket. It's the middle of the night. I'm 16, 17 years old. I don't want to get a ticket, because how am I going to like explain that to my folks, right? That I'm out at 3 a.m. in the middle, how am I going to explain that? So it was pouring rain, by the way. And I look over and the light finally turns green. And I'm trying to take a left. And instead of taking a left, I just stayed where I was, dude. I just stayed. Something told me that something bad was going to happen. And this 18-wheeler coming by was trying to stop at the red, ends up jackknifing and crashes right in front of me where I would have been. I had been waiting for this light for 5 minutes to turn green. It turned green, and that 18-wheeler was kind of a little bit out in the distance. I could have just made it in time. Dude, I probably would have been wiped out by that 18-wheeler, but I stood there. Like, just something told me, stay.
Yeah.
And it jackknifed, and that guy was fine. But the thing turned over. It was pouring rain. It's things like that have happened, and you can't explain it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's divine intervention. Maybe it's just outright luck, but it's just so weird. Swiss reaches out to us and says, Mike's the type of guy. What's the last one that Swiss wrote to us? Scroll down. Mike's the type of guy who texts you at 3 a.m. to tell you good night.
Jason Garcia says that's a tall tale. When I was talking about Billy Corgan's interview with
the
Howard Stern,
shapeshifter,
and they're like, were you high? Were you drunk? He's like, no, I was totally sober. I was like, oh, whatever, man.
I've never seen an alien. I've never seen a UFO.
Yeah. Well, look at this. Mario Cavazos. Oprah is a shapeshifter. Mike Sasquatch says hi. Oh my God.
Well, speaking of Sasquatch, out there in it's supposed to be in like the Pacific Northwest, right? This year I'm planning on going to Sequoia National Park, which is out in Northern California, out in the woods out there. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Hey, so let's go ahead and get into a little bit of sports talk, man.
Swiss says Mike Jimenez is the type of guy who danced with a chick at a club, then text her, so what are we?
Not a damn thing.
I don't understand how any of that works, by the way. I know this isn't sports related, but ESPN just dropped an article right now, and don't get mad. It's a T Swift article.
Oh, God.
Taylor Swift has donated $100,000 to the family of the Tejano DJ that was killed in the Kansas City Chiefs parade.
Good on her, man.
Okay, so the woman that died was Lisa Lopez Galvan. Two $50,000 donations were posted Friday under the singer's name in a GoFundMe. Galvan was 43 years old, had 2 kids. She hosted a show in Kansas City called The Taste of Tejano. Deep Roots in Kansas City was a big fan of the Chiefs and one of the few Latina DJs in the Kansas City area. And she's being remembered, according to ESPN.com, as an amazing mother, daughter, wife, sister, aunt, and cousin. And also, we've seen some Kansas City Chiefs players who have stepped up as well, saying that they want to donate to the survivors, making sure that their medical bills are covered and anything like that would be needed. It's interesting. It's nice whenever you see the community kind of rally together to be there for people. I know most recently you see the shooting that we had over there in Kansas City. I know here in the San Antonio area, specifically Uvalde, after the Robb Elementary shooting, everybody come together, donating blood, donating money. I know I donated money as well. So this is the time when we all are supposed to rally together and be a community, and those with the most means should be the ones that donate the most. That's it. We had Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 on early today. He was saying how excited he was. He was telling me this on the phone as I was driving over here, that Rudy Campos Jr. on Sweep the League yesterday was talking more and more about the idea of Victor Wembanyama eventually being considered the GOAT of the San Antonio Spurs. We briefly touched on it yesterday. We didn't go really deep into it because Locked On Spurs had yet to be dropped, and the episode had not been released. So I want to talk about it a little bit more right now. I think it's fascinating when you look at Victor Wembanyama and what it would take to be considered a legend here in San Antonio. Talent-wise, even though he's just 20 years old, talent-wise, Victor Wembanyama is probably one of the 5 most talented Spurs of all time. I think the most talented Spur of all time is David Robinson. I'd go number 2 is Tim Duncan. 3 is George Gervin. 4 is Manu. And I'd say Wemby rounds out the top 5 of just pure talent. There's a difference between being the GOAT and being the best. He might be the best Spur of all time at some point, but in order for him to be a GOAT, I don't necessarily think he needs to bring 5 rings. I think if he brings 2 or 3, but has all the accolades behind him, becomes a Hall of Famer, and actually lives in San Antonio and remains in San Antonio for the vast majority of his career, 10 plus years, you could have that argument about being the GOAT.
Yeah, my thing is if Wemby doesn't even necessarily have to have more championships than the big 3, or with David Robinson, you can add that as well. If he can have at least 2 or 3 chips and they're back to back, at least one of those is back to back, and let's say he wins 3 championships, one of those is back to back. He wins MVP, back to back MVPs of the league. Then he wins 3 finals MVPs. I mean, there you go. Game over.
This is the debate that we have with Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady. Tom Brady could never do what Patrick Mahomes is doing. Never at all. But, he has the accolades and he has the rings and all of that stuff. But you take a look at the international phenomenon that is Victor Wembanyama. Imagine if he wins a ring. Imagine if he wins a ring, how that would be globally. No one gave a crap about Tim Duncan outside of the United States and the Virgin Islands. Okay,
yeah, he grew up over in the Virgin Islands,
Virgin Islands,
St. Croix or something like that. Yeah.
So he didn't have that foreign flavor. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there were fans in Europe, and I'm sure they are fans in Australia and whatnot. But there was not that international stardom that was Tim Duncan. Kobe Bryant had that international stardom. He grew up in Italy, right? You had Shaq, who was an international stardom. A lot of players have been international stars. Michael Jordan was. Victor Wembanyama gets a couple of rings.
Yeah.
He gets a couple of rings. We're talking David Beckham level. We're talking Ronaldo. We're talking soccer star level. Messi. We're talking about that level because this guy will be a global icon if he wins NBA championships. And what about if he plays in the Olympics for France? And what if he leads them to a silver or a bronze or maybe even a gold? There's a lot to be said about what this guy can bring. And if you can show my screen real fast, Don Harris from News 4 San Antonio, the legendary Don Harris, saying, look who greeted me at the airport in Indianapolis at baggage claim. Hashtag it, Wembyannapolis.
Wendyanapolis.
Where the NBA All-Star festivities get going from the 16th to the 18th. Get going today. Did they name who the replacement was going to be for Kawhi Leonard?
They haven't said yet. I don't believe they've.
It's got to be somebody who's already there.
Yeah. I mean, they've already got their guys there.
Yeah, they already got their guys there. So if Kawhi is not going to play and they have to name a replacement, wouldn't it be either Wemby or Chet?
I mean,
I'm not trying to hold out hope, but they have to have a full squad.
They have to, man.
They're not going to call somebody and say, hey, by the way, Domantas Sabonis, I know you're in Sacramento right now, but we need you to get on Delta Airlines to go to Indianapolis. They're not going to do that. They're going to say, hey, who's here that's all-star?
The guys that they have as backups, if they haven't been told by now, they're out of the country. They're somewhere on a beach.
Yeah, it's vacation.
Girl. They're like, hey, can you come back in here and make the game? They're going to be like, F you.
Tim Gonzalez had really said on the show, and I agree with him, imagine Wemby repeating 3 times something that Duncan and Robinson could never do.
Yeah.
Well, we never won back-to-back. So even just doing a back-to-back would be it. The whole idea that the Spurs were not a dynasty is bullshit. Okay? Because, I mean, I look at it this way. The Kansas City Chiefs, are they a dynasty, right?
Yeah.
How many rings have they won last 5 years? 3, right? They won 1. They won 1, didn't win the next 2 years, won back-to-backs. So because they won 3 out of 5 in a back-to-back, they're a dynasty. But the Spurs won in 03, 05, and 07. 5 years, 3 rings. It's still the same number of damn rings.
Yeah.
Anybody who says that the Spurs are not a dynasty is stupid.
Yeah.
Okay? 3 out of 5. If you want to use back-to-back as the measuring stick, I think the caveat away from that is saying, hey, but if you do 3 out of 5, then 3 out of 5 is 3 out of 5, right?
Yeah.
And the Spurs were also more than just a dynasty. The Spurs were an era because the Spurs won one in 99 and 2014 to bookend it. The Spurs run is very, very unique in NBA history because the Lakers run with Magic ran from 79 to about 89, 90. So probably about the same amount of time.
Well, his time got cut a little short
with
because
HIV.
of HIV, at the time.
The Bulls were weird because they had the 3, and then they the 2 seasons where the Rockets won it. Kenny Smith, and then they had 3 more. Kenny Smith was on TikTok the other day. He was on a podcast, but I saw this as a TikTok. Kenny Smith was there saying he was interviewed and was asked a question about his championships and how great it was for Clutch City and the Rockets to win titles in the mid-90s. And they asked the question, do you feel if your NBA rings are tainted or if it's an asterisk because Michael Jordan wasn't there?
Yeah.
And he said 2 things that I found to be interesting. I want to know what people think about this. He said, first of all, I think our team was better than the Bulls. He said the Bulls didn't have, at that point, Dennis Rodman. The Bulls didn't have, at that point, Horace Grant. The Bulls at that point, Scottie Pippen was not as good as he was later on in his career. Scottie Pippen was just a young guy. He was saying our team was better than their team. And he goes, also, if you believe that Michael Jordan was going to win 8 championships in a row, he goes, there's no way in the world that that's even physically possible. And I find that a lot of NBA fans fantasize about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time, right?
No doubt, no question.
He's not the best player of all time. He's the greatest player of all time. Again, the whole thing about the GOAT is Tom Brady, but he's not the best quarterback of all time. The GOAT is Michael Jordan, but he's not the greatest player of all time. Greatest player of all time is Kareem. And I will argue that to the day I die, that it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But in thinking about Michael Jordan is somebody who was so dynamic, such a great player, but it took him so long to get over the hump because he got beaten up by the Pistons. He got beaten up by the other teams going into it. He didn't win out of the gate. It took him 6, 7, 8 years to win a ring. But when Kenny Smith says, do you really think that there's any NBA player capable of winning 8 in a row? He goes, even as great as Michael Jordan was, he was not going to win 8 in a row. And I kind of agree. We fantasize that, okay, he was going to win those 2. Okay, let's go ahead and say that he was going to win those 2, right? That he would have won number 4 and 5 in a row. Does that mean he would have won 6, 7, and 8? It's like those people who say that the Spurs won 2014 because they lost 2013. And had we won 2013, we would not have won 2014.
Yeah.
Can't that same logic be applied to the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan? Think Kenny Smith's full of shit?
Who knows?
I mean, come on. Do you think back then? It reminds me of I met in Phoenix last year Warren Moon, and Warren Moon was being interviewed by Jason Minix and Joe Reinagle, and Warren Moon said, "Had we gotten past the Bills and not wet the bed 35-3, we would have beaten the Cowboys in the Super Bowl because we were built to beat the Cowboys. Everything that we did was designed to beat them. That they were looking at the Cowboys and they built their team saying, we get to the Super Bowl, we need to beat that team. We need to have a team that can counteract what they're doing." And he was saying how tragic it was for them to not get out of the AFC because they had a team that was capable going toe-to-toe with the Cowboys and wasn't going to get shellacked 52-3, wasn't going to get their ass stomped. The Oilers wouldn't have been stomped that way. That run-and-shoot offense was really good. I found it to be fascinating. Garrett reaches out to us from the Netherlands. Bill Wellington stopping the dream, or Cartwright? LOL. That's exactly what he was saying. Kenny Smith was saying that when you think of Michael Jordan and you think of all the talent that they had, whether it have been Kerr and Horace Grant and Dennis Rodman and all of these players that they had, Scotty in his prime, he goes, none of that happened at the same time. I find that to be funny. When you look at that team, and he goes, exactly, Garrett. There's no way to say that any of these guys were going to stop him. Like Luke Longley. Was Luke Longley? Tony Kukoc wasn't there the entire time.
Oh, man.
The 3-point shooting of Craig Hodges wasn't there all the time. Horace Grant wasn't there the whole time. Maybe Kenny Smith was right. Maybe the Rockets would have taken out the Bulls. And if the Bulls win 4 and 5 in a row, would they have won in 96 and 97, 98? No.
It would have been tough no doubt it would have been tough for the Bulls to continue the streak.
Yeah.
But who's to say they wouldn't have been able to do it?
And Kenny Smith is like, we had Kim Olajuwon in his prime. We had Clyde Drexler in his prime.
But
we
they
had
didn't have Michael Jordan.
But Michael Jordan's only one player.
It doesn't matter.
Michael Jordan wasn't the only thing that won for the Bulls.
What Michael Jordan did and what he figured out in the latter part of his career, and what made him, I think, so instrumental in winning these championships is he learned to trust his teammates.
But he needed to have teammates to trust.
He did. And the thing is that he would be able to find his teammates in the right positions at the right time to win games. And case in point, Steve Kerr.
He would defer to Steve Kerr every once in a while.
And if he hadn't done that, they wouldn't have been able to win. But they were able to win. I believe it was the game against the Jazz where he did find Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr hit that 3, and that was it. Game over.
Oh, look at the video of Craig Elo. It's when you look at Michael Jordan, and I know we fantasize or romanticize about 80s and 90s basketball. I do like the fact that it was a little bit more aggressive than it is now.
Boy, it was really aggressive, man.
But the talent that was there just didn't exist, man. It was very top heavy. I mean, the idea that Craig Elo is guarding Michael Jordan is so fucking weird.
Yeah, man.
Craig Elo was not even one half the athleticism of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan right now, I think we romanticize it to the point where we think, oh, if we just take everybody from the 80s and 90s and we brought them to today, that they would dominate.
Yeah.
Bullshit. If we took
some players would.
If we took David Robinson would.
Some, yeah.
Michael Jordan would, David Robinson would, Larry Bird would.
Kareem
would.
Yeah.
But if we had the players of today with the skills that, dude, LeBron would fucking dominate in the 80s and 90s. No one would be guarding LeBron.
He's a beast, bro. They couldn't stop him.
Yeah. Wemby would dominate in the 80s and 90s. Even as physical as it was, he would have figured it out and would dominate over there. Dude, Jokic, Luka Doncic, Giannis, SGA would all have dominated over there because
I think Steph Curry would have also dominated. He's the best shooter in NBA history.
The skill set is so much better now.
Yeah.
The athleticism is so much better. Back then, it was top heavy, dude. You had like the 20 best players out there back then. I was a big fan of Kevin Johnson. The top 20 or 30 players were really good. But the end of the bench for a lot of these teams was just shit.
That was crap, man. They're guys that you never heard of anyway.
I remember the Spurs for many years had Greg Anderson, had Frank Brakowski, had these end of the bench guys, Caldwell Jones, and it's like none of these guys were any good.
Frank Brakowski was just an enforcer, man.
But they had 10, 15-year-long careers.
Yeah.
Chris Gonzalez is out and says, remember Ron Harper was supposed to be on Jordan, not Elo. Ron Harper was a decent player. Jonathan C. Chris Leha, LeBron flopping to the 80s and 90s. Jonathan C. Half the 80s players had dad bods.
Oh, hey, bro, you want to talk about this, man? This is how old I am. I remember going to Spurs games, and Jeff does too, when we were younger, right?
Yeah.
When we were kids. And they would take us into the Hemisphere Arena, right?
Yeah.
And the players and the coaches, I mean, everybody's there smoking, bro. And at halftime, they would have like interviews and stuff with the players. They're sitting down on the little bench, like a little wooden bench. It wasn't even a chair. And they're popping a 6-pack. smoking a cigarette, bro. Shit was fucking wild back then, man.
The best we had was Sohan getting popcorn the other day in the third row.
Oh yeah, I saw that, man.
I mean, baseball players back in the day all looked like plumbers, man. You know,
hey, there we talking, man. Detlef Shrimp, low key, man. That he was a good player.
he was a good player, dude. And who was the one? Oh my god, I cannot believe I'm mistaking his name. He was a European player who was a great shooter who died really, really young. It's not Sarbonis. Sarbonis was a center. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank here. Someone could remind me.
I believe he was with the Portland Trailblazers at the time of his death.
Yeah.
I have his rookie card.
Yeah. Why am I forgetting?
I just can't remember his name, but it was on the pinnacle of him. He was on the cusp of breaking on through as a bona fide NBA superstar.
It was Drazen Petrovic.
And he died before his time in a freak car accident when he was in Europe.
Drazen Petrovic played for the Nets, by the
Yeah.
way. Thank you for reminding us, Chris Gonzalez.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Drazen Petrovic coming in from I can't believe we're talking about this. He was an all NBA third team in 1993, two-time EuroLeague champion. The guy, when he played in the NBA, was so good. He played from 79 to 93.
You know who else was
Died
good?
at the age of 28
Yeah,
in
man.
Germany.
Freak car accident. You know who else was low-key good? A good European player
Mhm.
that kind of broke in through the lead and came off the bench. I think he was like a good six-man. It was Sarunas Marciulionis.
Sarunas Marciulionis.
He
Yeah.
played for the Golden State
Golden
Warriors.
Warriors, yeah.
Dude, he would tear the Spurs up, man. In the playoffs, they would put that motherfucker in right off the bench, and it was over, dude. Game over.
They used to call him Run TMC Warriors.
Yeah, man.
That
Sarunas Marciulionis. I hated that son of a bitch.
Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, Chris Mullen, Run TMC. That was great.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Petrovic's stats, dude. Petrovic's stats right before he died, he averaged 24.3 points per game, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. He shot 54% from the field, 85% from the free throw line, only 33% from 3, but was considered to be a very good shooter nonetheless.
He had that
Wow.
skill set, man. He had that skill set.
Dude, some of the teams in the 80s, I mean, in the 90s, you know, Run TMC, Richmond,
Tim Hardaway.
and Chris Mullins
Mhm.
didn't win anything. The Mavericks back in the day, when they had Mashburn, they had Jason Kidd, and who else was in love with Tony Braxton? Remember?
Well, the Mavs back in the day, they also had Michael Finley,
They had
former
Finley.
Spur.
Jim Jackson is the one that
Yeah.
I'm thinking of. And then you had the Suns with Barkley and Kevin Johnson and Tom Chambers and all those guys.
Yeah.
That was great.
Kevin Johnson. I remember Dan Marley. They used to call him Thunder Dan.
Thunder Dan,
Thunder
dude.
Dan Marley.
Thunder Dan.
That's when they were. That was the, what do you call it? The Suns back in the day.
Dude.
Phoenix Suns. Hey, but since we're on the talking on the subject of basketball, let's go ahead and talk about some of the festivities that are going to be happening today, because it is the kickoff of NBA All-Star Weekend. So today, starting at 11:30 a.m., well, Eastern time, which is already passed, they had the Panini's Rising Stars practice on NBA TV. At 5:30 today, which is 4:30 our time, they're going to have the Basketball Hall of Fame news conference. At 7 p.m., 6 p.m. our time, the Ruffles NBA All-Star Celebrity Game is going to be happening on ESPN. At 9 p.m., 8 p.m. our time, they have the Panini Rising Stars game. That's going to be taking place on TNT. And that's your schedule for today's festivities of what's going to be happening. Now, when it comes to Saturday, you're going to have the NBA All-Star practice starting at 10 o'clock our time. And then things that, are worth the shit that really matter are going to start taking place at 7 p.m. on Saturday. That's when you're going to have the Kia Skills Challenge. You're going to have the Starry 3-point contest. And then you're going to have this Steph Curry versus Sabrina 3-point challenge.
That I want to watch.
I want to watch that. And then you're going to have the NBA AT&T Slam Dunk Contest. We'll see what happens.
It's the first time in, I think, 7 years that we have an all-star that's in the dunk contest.
Yes,
in
so-
Jaylen Brown.
I'm hopeful for this, but let's see what happens, because let's be honest, the slam dunk contest Has gotten a little boring, man.
It has. Mario Cavazos rather, saying Antoine Carr was AKA Dad Bod. Hey, we're talking about teams from the 80s and 90s that had stacked lineups. I'm looking at the 1984-85 Philadelphia 76ers roster, which included Charles Barkley, Dr. J, Maurice Cheeks, Bobby Jones, Moses Malone, Sedale Threet, and Andrew Toney. What a team, dude.
Rocking the dad bods, no doubt.
That reminds me of when, if I'm not mistaken, Mike Schmidt played with Pete Rose.
Pistol Pete.
We're showing our age today, dude.
Jeez, man.
Wemby's out there. I wonder what outfits. I was thinking about the outfit that he wore the other day in Toronto. When he had right before he had the triple double, he goes in there with like that ski mask type of thing, Slender Man type of thing. I dig it, dude. I'm digging his fashion these days when he's going out there rocking the suit, but with like the capris. I like it a lot, dude. I like it a lot. Everyone's talking about college basketball last night, but not on the men's side. Talking about the women's side. You had a record that was broken. Caitlin Clark
scoring record
broke the NCAA women's hoop scoring record yesterday. Went down. She now has 3,569 career points, 49 of them yesterday. She went in there and beat a record that was held by Kelsey Plum, formerly of the San Antonio Silver Stars, now with the Las Vegas Aces. A lot of people I saw on TikTok, a lot of these former WNBA players that are considered to be legends, were talking shit about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's a rock star. Playing for Iowa, sells out stadiums wherever she goes. She talks shit. Angel Reese from LSU kind of talked shit back to her last year when LSU won the title. And I think that there's a misunderstanding about how COVID worked with her because, right now people are allowed a COVID year, right? One more year of eligibility. And Caitlin Clark has said that she might actually come back one more year for college, not because she needs to, but because she may not like how the lottery stacks up when it comes to the WNBA draft. She might not like that, and she may just say, hey, I'll just take the NIL money, come back, play college. I'm a legend already. And they were complaining about the fact that if she does do that, she's going to run up the score and have a record that might not ever be broken because she would have that additional year of play.
Yeah.
But the thing is that they're trying to say, well, she's not the real record holder. Well, she beat this record in her senior season. She didn't have to go a COVID year to do it. She broke the record regardless. Right? So it's one of those things like, what are they bitching about? She hasn't had a COVID year. She hasn't exercised it yet. And even if she did, she would have broken the record before that ever happened. She's the true record holder. She's a badass. She's a superstar. And I would say in college basketball, you can argue that Caitlin Clark is more popular than any guy's basketball player out there. I mean, who would you rather watch play? Is one of the guys that's going to be drafted in the lottery of the NBA? Or would you, I don't see it. I would rather go see Caitlin Clark do what she does. She's going to be a star. Now, is she NBA level? No. Very, very few, if any, women have ever been that. Maybe Cheryl Swoops back in the day. Maybe Reggie Miller's sister. I forgot her name. Cynthia Miller, right?
No, I think it was. Let me see.
Let's see. Reggie Miller's sister. That would have been Cheryl Miller.
Cheryl Miller,
Yeah. Reggie has always said that Cheryl probably could have held some spot on the bench.
She
had
the size, like she was tall, and she could have held her own.
Yeah, when Reggie Miller talks about the fact that he scored 40 some odd points in a high school game, and then his sister comes home and goes, "I scored 100."
Yeah,
that Reggie Miller wasn't even the best player on his team. She was 6'2", 180. Now 60 years old. Cheryl Miller is now 60 years old.
Damn.
Jonathan Searich is out and says, but if it was Angel Reese in this position, they would be cheering her on. Most definitely. Yep. Angel Reese, I mean, she's kind of a polarizing character sometimes. I get that.
I think it's the charisma, man. That's what it is.
Yeah.
She
got sponsored by Beats.
Beats, yeah.
And she gave the team and the coaching staff on the men's side and the women's side
all Beats.
All Beats. That was pretty cool. Joe Gonzalez reaches out to us and says that he would rather watch Caitlyn. Chris Gonzalez also says that Cheryl would have dominated Caitlyn. Well, they play two different positions. I mean, it's trying to compare apples and oranges. I mean, could Cheryl Miller back up Caitlyn Miller down the low post? Well, yeah, but she played forward. She was a small forward / power forward. Caitlyn's not that. Caitlyn's a shooting guard. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to compare the two.
Hey, they're putting this right now. My boy, Swiss man, Midwest man myth.
Yeah,
on Twitter on the X. He just posted something yesterday, and he's like, "Always a great snack, fire. It's a tortilla, dude, with just butter, bro.
Oh yeah,
that shit slaps, man.
Okay, so that is a top tier dessert.
That or just a tortilla, and I like a tortilla with just avocado.
Yeah. Oh,
and I just smash it on there.
It has to be an avocado from Culebra Meat Market.
Like good avocado, and you just
not an HEB one. Why is HEB?
They're always hard, bro.
HEB's produce is amazing, but wherever they get their avocados from, you gotta switch up the vendors.
Shit's not right, bro.
How is it the Culebra Meat Market has the tastiest avocados around, but HEBs are just awful? They're rock hard and they're only good for like 1 minute.
Bro, you could break a window with that son of a bitch.
Dude, seriously. It is an assault if you throw that at somebody. Dude.
Hey, if you're trapped in the car and you need to break a window, just get the avocado. Boom.
We could go out to the Wolf and pitch it to somebody, and someone could hit that avocado over the fence.
Dent.
Wouldn't even make a dent.
No.
Dude, HEB avocados suck.
Yeah, man.
They suck.
There we go, man. Jonathan C. Tortilla, avocado and salt, dude. That shit slaps hard, man.
No, but tortilla and butter. Now, you know what pisses me off though about tortilla and butter? Not so much that people eat it, because I eat it too. I like it. And you get the tortilla warmer, and you ask for butter and you put it in there so that it kind of like,
oh dude,
it liquefies a little bit.
I guess the stick of butter and I just rub that bitch on it.
No, but I'll say if you're at a restaurant though.
Yeah.
If you're at a restaurant, you ask for the little butter, they put them in little cubes.
Yeah.
And you put in the warmer, and the tortilla warms the butter. The people who have tortilla and butter as an appetizer kind of throw me off.
That shit's good, man.
No, it's good, but that should be dessert.
No,
that shouldn't be the first thing you eat. The first thing you eat at a Mexican restaurant should be the chips. And I want the orange ones.
What about sopapilla, dude?
Well, you can't have that for an appetizer.
Why not?
You have that in.
No, man, you can have a sopapilla. They used to give it to you at Pancho's, bro. Come on.
That's a dessert, man.
No, man, you just open the sopapilla.
Is this another
honey on it?
This another Twitter? No, the honey, dude. There's nothing wrong with sopapilla, dude. I love sopapillas, dude. Buñuelos. I like buñuelos also.
Chris Gonzalez, the meat market has Coke in it. Oh shit, bro.
I know. Who's bitching about how much they cost? Is it Mario?
What do you say? Oh yeah, Culebra Meat Market.
Or $5. They're $5. They're fucking delicious. I'd rather have a $5 avocado from the meat market and be amazing than have that baseball / softball that they sell you at HEB for $3.
Look at Jonathan C. in the West Side. They do drive-bys by throwing avocados they brought from Las Palmas HEB at their target. They just go and pick those son of a bitches up. You could use them again. Nothing's gonna happen to them, man.
You gotta use a chainsaw to open that bitch up.
Chris Leia, y'all just making me hungry, fuckers. Hey, man, that shit's good, man. That's all I'm thinking about. I've
already had Sazon once today. That's where I came. And by the way, I appreciate everyone who's taken part in this show, because I'm gonna be honest with you. There's some days where I do like a lot of prep for the show.
Today
some days where I had little
zero prep.
I walked in the door. I called Jeff and I said, Jeff, I ain't got shit today. I've been working till like midnight or 1 a.m. every day.
Yeah.
I'm now a vice president of a financial firm.
You're busy.
And I've been busy. So I met with one of my vendors. Dude, look what they got me.
What they get you?
I do a lot of business with them.
Yeah.
They got me some new Titleist.
Oh, nice.
And
golf balls.
And then he goes, dude, people have been wanting these. They got me a Stanley cup. Aren't these things going for like a lot of money on eBay?
Yeah, usually the ones that go for a lot of money are the ones from like Target and shit, because they're like red and pink and shit, man. My wife has
a Stanley's a Stanley.
Yeah, my wife has a Stanley. My daughter actually bought it for her.
I'm looking at it. So right now I found the Stanley right now. This is bought at Target. Hey, $40.
It's just a cup, bro. This is my Stanley here. It's better. Fucking Spurs cup.
Yeah,
My kids got me, man.
Chris Leha saying the OGs have had Stanleys for fucking ever. Leha, dude, I'm going to ask you for a favor,
Pinche
man.
Yeti, bro.
I'm going to ask you for a favor. I am going to be going to buy a new truck in March. You want to go truck shopping with me, my man? Do you want to go? I have a lease that is due next year, but I can trade it in. I'm thinking about getting a Tundra, dude. I think I'm going to go from the Tacoma to the Tundra.
Tundras are nice, man.
Dude,
but don't be getting it all decked out and everything. If you're not going to go use it four-wheeling, you're not going to go off-road. I mean, there's no need to get a 4x4.
Well, I mean, it's all about the price.
But, man, but look at you, man. You're not going to go out there in four-wheel, man, in the dirt. Come on.
John reaches out. The OG Stanley Cup in San Antonio is the Bill Miller's Cup.
Hey, no lies detected, bro. Hey, that little beige-looking cup that you could go and get refilled with tea.
Yeah.
And that shit's elite.
But, man, I never buy vehicles, dude. I am a leasing mofo, dude. I lease everything when it comes to vehicles. And if I like the vehicle after 2 or 3 years, I'll buy it.
Look at Leha. Diesel 4x4 crew cab.
I'm looking at a Toyota. Because they'll allow me to get out of my lease if that happens. And not a big fan of Chevy trucks. You know, Ford has some really good trucks.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I used to drive a Dodge 1500.
Hey, man, I saw Cadillacs and be rolling out a truck. This shit looks sweet too, man.
Yeah.
I'm a caddy, man. I like my Cadillacs. Bro.
Oh, you got your car out
got
here.
my girl out here in the driveway.
I know, man. You're going to be selling Mary Kay and everything. Gonna get the pink one.
No, I like that one, dude.
Let me ask you this question, man. So yesterday, I had some friends that invited me over to their house. And, you know, you get invited to a house and we typically pound back beers. And we did have beer last night, right? Or we pound back some bourbon and whatnot.
I had a couple beers.
What do you think about
night.
guys getting together drinking a bottle of wine?
Oh, that's fucking not, bro.
Now, I mean, we chased it down with beer. So we shared a bottle of wine, red wine. We shared a bottle. Now, their spouses were there. They also had a glass too, but still starting off with wine and then making your way over to some beer.
No, bro, I don't drink wine, man. I either drinking beer, I'm drinking my Modelo, Dos Equis. I'll have my Lone Star when I'm just barbecuing in the back. And if I'm not drinking beer, I'm drinking on some tequila or I'm drinking on some bourbon, whiskey, right straight, dude, out of the bottle.
Now, this wine came from Fredericksburg, so it's
fuck where it came from. I don't fuck with wine. Bro.
Well, wine's good. They asked me if I wanted champagne. I was like, no, man.
Hey, that Prosecco
Steph Mahia got me drunk off my ass.
That shit hits hard, dude. That shit hits different. And I just saw her yesterday. Her and Matt Lerma. Shout out to them. We had a little meetup with for the Poodle Network.
Yeah. And
shout out to you, Chris Leha, our boy Chris Leha. He helped take care of the bill, man.
Joe,
appreciate you.
Joe asking the question, did you all do each other's hair as well, MJ?
For real, man. That's what I'm saying, dude.
So wine is not manly?
I mean, to some
I
men,
don't drink a lot of wine, but
some men will drink wine, and that's fine. That's your thing. But I'm just saying, it's not like you're going to invite the boys over and you're going to have a night of watching, I don't know, a fight, or you're going to be watching some major sporting event. And you're going to bust out the bottle of wine. No, fuck that, dude.
Chris Leha reaches out to us on our YouTube stream saying, the only time I had wine, I was in Lubbock and my redneck homie made me some at his crib. We got fucked the fuck up.
I bet, bro. I bet you felt like death the next day.
It's funny because, you know, there's different types of drunks out there.
Oh,
being a wine drunk is different.
Look at that. That's my dog right there with some moonshine. I'll fuck with some moonshine, bro.
Now, is it real moonshine or is it the moonshine that you get over at Specs?
No, dude, you got to get that real moonshine, man.
Have you ever had absinthe?
I have.
I have too. That'll fuck with your mind.
It's expensive. They have it over at that bar 1919.
Yeah.
Have you seen the presentation?
No.
We got to take Hefe, man.
The green fairy shows up?
Dude, they bring you this whole thing, man. It looks badass too. I don't know how much it is, but it's a whole presentation, and they have the little water that's dripping and the little cups and everything. I'm gonna get Hefe to do that for us, bro. We gotta go to bar 1919 for that.
Yeah, but we gotta get all dressed up. I do have a new blazer, by the way, so I'll be able to match what Homeboy does. Jeff Garcia, Hefe, money bags himself.
Chris Leha, this was moonshine this dude made in the backwoods. That's what I'm saying, man. That moonshine is good as hell. The corn whiskey,
yeah,
man.
Have you ever had like potato vodka?
I've had that before. It's all right.
I like it.
It's all right.
I'm okay with potato vodka.
I'll drink on some moonshine though.
The potato vodka that I like is called Ultimate. And they sell it here in San Antonio, but back in the day, I only saw it when I was in Vegas. That was a pretty good thing there. Pop and Mike drinking wine with their pinky up, according to Mario Cavazos. Tall Tale. You want to hear Tall Tale?
Oh, Lord. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
The day that Tim Duncan retired. Now, famously,
Yeah.
he did not make an announcement.
No?
He did not have a farewell tour. Tim Duncan retired by fax. He sent a fax into the Spurs saying he was retired.
No?
That day, all of San Antonio is sad because our greatest player of all time called it quits, right?
Yeah. I remember
Father
that.
time.
You knew where you were at when that happened.
Well,
Yeah.
where I was at was with Greg Popovich.
No, Mamas, Mike. Come on, bro.
True
This
story.
show's over, bro. Man.
True
Damn,
story.
man.
Okay, Tall Tale time. There used to be a restaurant in Leon Springs called the Leon Springs Grill, the grill at Leon Springs. And I think that it might have been co-owned by Tony Parker and Evil Longoria, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it was known for its steaks. It was known for its wine. It's kind of in the area where one of the original Rudy's barbecues was.
Okay.
Out there in Leon Springs.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was a really good restaurant. They had good appetizers. I would oftentimes have work events over there where we would have like company parties and stuff like that. It was a nice place. I would go there every once in a while, and Tony Parker was there with Evil Longoria, and they would have dinner, and they'd be having dinner at the other side of the restaurant.
Yeah.
But I could see them, you know. Well, the day that he retired, I was hosting an event there for my work, and it was in the bar area. And we took up like 3 or 4 tables at the bar. I did a presentation, all that stuff, and I got some takeout. So I was like, I saw everyone eating. I didn't have a chance to eat because I was doing the presentation.
Yeah.
So I ordered some food to go, and they were bagging it for me. I went to go to the waiting area, and I look over right next to me, and it's Greg Popovich just drinking wine. And I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
He didn't remember me from media days back in the day, and he didn't even look over, to be honest with you. But I just looked over and I was like, holy shit, man. Spurs legend Tim Duncan retires, and 2 hours later, I'm at a bar waiting for takeout, and there's Pop. And I'm sure, Pop was a fixture there. So I didn't say that I went up and I met up and I talked with him and I asked him his feelings. No. Hey, Tall Tale time. Tall Tale time. I was once trapped inside a restaurant with all the members of the Spurs.
Oh. You need to write a little book of Mike's tall tales.
This happened. I don't know. I wasn't even in the media. This was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
You know how the Spurs, they now practice at the Rock at La Cantera. They did practice for a good while there in the medical center. They had that facility there right off of Hebner Road, right? Kind of close to Babcock. There was one day I went out with some friends. We were having burritos at Firebirds at Hebner Oaks, right across the street from Hebner Oaks. It wasn't in Hebner Oaks, but it's right across the way.
Man, you telling the people like you full on coconut, bro.
No.
Where you hang out. Come on.
It wasn't my choice. I've had Firebird like twice in my life.
Okay.
We go in there and all the Spurs showed up to have lunch. Like every single one of them showed up to have lunch. All the coaches, like everybody went to Firebirds. Or is it Freebirds? Whatever it's called.
Freebirds World Burrito.
It's Freebirds.
Freebirds World Burrito.
Okay, I guess that's where it was. Wherever it is outside of Hebner Oaks. Dude, it was pouring rain so bad while we were eating. And it got so bad that none of us could leave. We were there trapped in there for like 45 minutes until
torrential monsoon.
The rain let up.
You had a monsoon coming down.
And everybody was nice to them. Did I say hi to them? No, I did not. But it's funny how these tall tales kind of manifest themselves. So I had a friend, Richard, who confirmed the whole Mario Lopez thing. Joe, you did not know we were going to talk about that? I didn't know we were going to talk about that. It was brought up by somebody that was listening to our show.
Yeah.
I in the moment called my friend who I was with. He answered the phone. He told the story identical to what I had been saying. That tall tale. Do you believe me?
No.
You don't believe?
I believe there's some fact to it, some truth in there.
You don't believe Mario Lopez wanted to play basketball on my team one
No,
afternoon,
I don't believe that you could play basketball. That's the problem.
dude. I was decent. I was decent back in the day. I'm not gonna say I was great, but I was decent back in the day.
It's like, no, bro. I would have crossed your ass up and went to the hole real quick.
Probably not.
No, bro. You don't even know, man.
No.
You don't even know.
I played pretty good defense back in the
man.
day.
It don't matter, bro.
I played pretty good defense, and I had handles.
No, I would have bodied your ass straight up, bro.
I had handles, dude.
I would have bodied your ass straight up. I used to play for money back in the courts.
Yeah.
I know a lot of tricks, bro.
Yeah, I would play at Joe Ward. I played at Garza Park. I would play at what's that one over there? Kind of near Five Palms. What's that park over there?
Five Palms Park. What are you talking about?
No. What's the park over there? John Dyer and I talk about it all the time.
You talking about Miller's Pond?
Miller's Pond.
Nah, bro.
We used to play Miller's Pond all dude. I fucking
You
lived
played
in Miller's
outside
Pond.
or inside?
Both, but primarily inside.
No, man. I used to
we would rent out the gym over there.
We used to play for money, dude, in the courts, and I used to play over there by the Windcrest area.
Dude, we used to go play at just for feet up on the roof, just for feet on 410 and Evers. We would go play at Joe Ward. We would go play at what used to be Racquetball and Fitness. It's now a it used to be the Racquetball and Fitness, the one on Callahan and Babcock. Man, my friends and I would run ball all the time, dude. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that I was a bad player, but I wasn't a great player, but I was a pretty good player.
I would have humbled your ass quick. Real quick.
No, I mean, you probably just think that I sucked.
No, I don't think you suck. It don't matter, dude. Because we grew up playing ball in a different manner. Like, you never played ball, and if you lose the game, you lose your life. That's the shit that we would play with back in the day.
No one's getting fucking murdered at a basketball game.
You don't even know. Back in the day, we hustle on the courts. That's what we did for money back then. You either win or you going home in the box.
Oh, that's stupid.
No,
dude.
It ain't, bro. That's life.
That is stupid,
bro. That was
dude.
life. I'm just telling you, man.
Oh, fucking that is your tall
That's
tale.
life. No.
Okay, so I want people who are listening right now
That
asking
was
the
life.
question: did Joe play for his life?
Dude, we
basketball?
had guns. We had guns pulled up on us because we'd hustle on the court.
Dude, I've had a gun
and
pointed
guys-
at me twice in my life.
Guys
dude.
would catch you, man, when you
Now,
walking
not
back,
on a basketball
back
court,
home,
but
man.
I've been held up twice in my life.
No,
I've been held up twice in my life.
we ain't the same, dude. We ain't the same. I'll tell you that right now.
One time I got held up at McDonald's.
No.
That was nice. I got held up at McDonald's on Callahan and Ingram Road.
Oh Lord.
And I got held up at somebody tried to carjack me at the what's that park in New Braunfels?
Hey, I was
Where
on
the rivers-
courts, man. Shout out, dude. I used to play out there in the courts too, because my grandma, she lived out there on Veracruz, on a street called Veracruz.
Yeah.
And right across from where she lived, they had this outdoor basketball court. And we used to go out there and play. And I remember one of the times we went out there and played, and that was me and my cousins were just balling out there on the court. We came back because my grandma was like screaming out, hey, she's already finished La Cena. Dinner's ready. We came all in to eat. Not even like 10 minutes later, some dude got shot right there on the court where we were playing, dude. Crazy times, man.
You remind me of White Man Can't Jump when they're trying to like hustle these guys. That one big dude goes, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk to my car and I'm going to come back and shoot up this place.
Hey, bro, when we used to play ball, when we used to hustle, we used to like look for our spots because we would like to play on this one court or this one rim because they had this hole in the gate, right? So in case some shit went down, you're always looking for a way out, dude. You had to have your escape, man.
Maybe you just don't play with people who you know are going to do that shit.
Hey, man,
you got
to do what you got to do back in the day, man.
No, man, that's I'm going to say that's a tall tale.
It's
of
not tall tales,
dude.
man. That was life back in the day, bro.
Because they would have shut down those gyms if that was
that
the
wasn't a
case.
gym. It was just out in the court. You would go into this elementary school down the street, and everybody would just out there hustling, playing.
Now let me ask you this. Outdoor courts, the metal chains. God, there was not a better sound than making it through the metal chain, dude.
Yeah, man.
That was cool. I would play a lot and I'm trying to think of the names of the parks. There was one on the west side that I would play at pretty frequently. It was, oh my God, it was off of West Commerce. There's a park in that area off of West Commerce, probably about half a mile from Tacos Martinez.
Yeah.
I'd go play at that park Camargo Park. So it was Camargo Park, Joe Ward, Garza Park, just for feet, racquetball and
Just for
fitness.
feet.
Dude,
Oh, damn.
do you
bro.
remember that court?
I remember some of these courts, man.
Just for Feet would have a basketball court on top of the ceiling. You'd have to
Yeah.
climb. You'd have to go to the store. You'd have to climb up the stairs. It was only one court, and you'd have to. And if you won, you stayed on. If you lost, you'd probably have to wait 2 hours to play.
Yeah.
I didn't play a lot outside of schools. I think Jordan Middle School I played outside of a lot growing up. I didn't go to many elementary schools or anything like that. I hated double rims, dude. Double rims sucked. I was at a basketball game yesterday. I thought my refereeing was done for the year, and yesterday I did a game over at Medina Valley Middle School,
Yeah.
and it was a pretty good game. It was Medina Valley against McCullough Middle School, and did a couple of games. It was fine, but I was talking to the other official between the games, and I was asking the question about that Spurs challenge that they have there for a minute, where you have to make the layup. You have to make a free throw, a three-pointer, and then you have to go off and make it from midcourt. I wondered how far I could go in a minute. If people are just rifling, I mean, obviously you can make the layup, right?
Yeah.
And I would figure I'd make a free throw in one of the first 2 or 3 attempts, if not the first one. Knocking down the three in front of 17,000 people would probably be nerve-wracking. But then getting the midcourt shot, the heave. It's weird how there's some people who are really good at the midcourt shot and some who suck at it. I'm actually pretty good at it. I'm not saying I'm going to knock him down at a high clip, but I'll hit the rim more often than not. It's just so weird. Different shooting styles, stuff like that. You were talking about playing ball on the west side. There's also ball on the south side. And there is a difference because, I'll give you an example. I remember playing ball growing up, and you'd have some that would be like, well, there's no referee,
Oh, man.
and they would
no blood, no foul.
they would hack the living shit out of you.
No blood,
And
no
they
foul.
and it would be like, they have their arms like this to kind of prevent you from going out. So it wasn't really basketball. You were playing rugby with a hoop.
That's how you learn, bro.
Is basically it. No, it actually made your game shit. It made your game shit because you would go onto the court and all of a sudden you'd be playing someplace where they're not going to be doing that shit, and you were not allowed to do that shit elsewhere. You couldn't live thug life playing that on another side of the court, another side of the town. It wasn't going to be brought over. It just wasn't.
No, but you know what?
You played according to the etiquette of whatever side of town you were on.
But going through all those experiences on the court, playing in the streets, playing street ball, playing, hustling for money. Then when you're playing it on a team and you have actual referees, that shit makes you better because you're a hard ass now. You know how to be aggressive. You know what you want to do.
See, but aggressive is sometimes
go out there on the
fouls.
court. No,
Sometimes
I'm not saying
aggressive
it's
is
foul.
No, we would play, like my friends and I, when we were in high school, we'd play men's league basketball. So we're playing against people in their 30s and 40s, and that was oftentimes very violent. We would play at Kennedy.
Yeah.
And we play at places like that. That right there was basically 1980s style Bill Lambier, Cartwright. It was Larry Bird, Kevin McHale type of just, get clotheslined and stuff like that. But they would call fouls. You would get the foul call, but you would get beaten up in the process.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. It's kind of funny.
Freaking Leja, bro. Jimenez only played indoor basketball with legit refs and water breaks.
Well, he forgot the orange slices.
Oh shit!
I had the orange slices, and it wasn't water. It wasn't water. It was Sunkiss and what are those squeeze pouches of juice? What are those called?
Capri Suns.
The Capri Suns.
Oh Lord, bro. Man, you never had Manguera water back in the day?
Oh, the water hose.
Come on, man.
It's funny because it tastes different. It tastes different. It's like that should be bottled water, right? Just the Manguera water.
Bro.
Just buy it like that. I honestly think that my immune system's good for the most part because I did drink out of the water hose.
Damn it, man. Manguera water, bro.
So gross. Dude, we've been on for an hour and a half.
Yeah, man. Look at this. Christopher, did you all get snack bags after every game?
Grapes and almonds. grapes and almonds and trail mix and granola.
Oh, for the water hose, you'd have to wait 5 minutes. Dude, no lies, man. That water was hot as fuck when you turned that water on.
And it was brown for the
Woo,
first
shit,
30
man.
seconds. It was brown, and there was like a lot of ants in there.
Fuck yeah, dude. My whole family played for Kennedy. Yep. You were getting put down, MJ.
Your bus get rocked. Dude, I remember
Oh.
in high school, our bus got rocked at Southwest High School, which back then in the 90s was the Sticks. It kind of is the Sticks now. Sorry, Brandon Medina. But it back then, it was truly the Sticks. Chris Gonzalez, one game we played with hockey rules for subs, just run in and out. Just run in and out.
Man.
That is funny, dude.
Yeah,
That is-
we've gone on for a while. We're reminiscing about old days and playing basketball and stuff. All right,
This
a
has
lot of
been
good times,
this has been
man.
the most fun show today, and we didn't even prepare.
Nah, dude.
Dick. I just sat down and we just started riffing.
Yeah, it's like, hey, let's freestyle. I called Jeff though. I had talked to him yesterday. I said, hey, Mike's gonna go ahead and review Knight Rider.
Knight
Why
Rider.
don't you join us? You
I
know?
liked it, dude.
Yeah, Jeff didn't know if you were gonna like it or not. I said, hey, just come on and enjoy the fun. Let's see what Mike has to say.
Now it wasn't bad. It was a lot more cerebral than I thought. It had a plot. It was kind of like a movie.
Yeah,
Now I'm sure it did get stupid because it's a fucking talking
Dude.
car.
I'm not gonna lie, man. There's some episodes that you're like, what the fuck is this?
I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and we were asking the question about like, who were you in high school?
Yeah,
Like, what was your, because a lot of people gravitated towards the jocks, or they were the band geeks, or they were the nerds, or they were the choir, or whatever the case would be, right? You had a clique, right?
yeah,
And the reason why I brought this up was because when I was in high school, I dated somebody who was popular in her grade. She was a grade younger than me, and I dated her for 3 years, and she was a lot more attractive than me. Okay, I was a decent looking kid back in the day, but she was a lot more attractive than me, and people would always give me shit like, "How are you dating her?"
yeah.
And the more I thought about it, I'm not going to say that I was Ferris Bueller, but it reminds me of that line that the principal secretary said, the Bloods, the geeks, the dweebies, the motorheads, the goths, and all of that stuff. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude. And that was me in high school.
Oh,
Like there wasn't
God.
a clique out there that didn't like me.
oh man, I'm calling bullshit on
No,
this,
I
man.
the jocks liked me, the band geeks liked me, the nerds liked me, the journalism people liked me, the people in the motor club liked me, the people that, whatever, they all kind of liked me. I didn't have any enemies growing up. I was kind of like, I don't know, I had a pretty good wide collection of people. And that's why I liked Holmes back in the day, because the geographic area of Holmes, like the boundaries have changed because Stevens High School and because of various things like that have changed. Back then, right now you go to Holmes High School, it is 90% Mexican, right? It is heavily Hispanic.
Yeah,
But back when I went to school, it was like there were so many Hispanic, there were so many white guys and white girls there. There were so many Asians because of the Southwest Research Center, and also because there was a big black population also. It was a very good melting pot of people. And I think I'm a good person and a more understanding person because of the high school I went to, because it wasn't all white, it wasn't all black, it wasn't all Hispanic. It was actually very well represented by society.
yeah,
And I think that helped me out later on in life. I think it helps me get friends later on in life. And because of that, I never found high school to be extremely cliquish. 456 people graduated the day that I graduated from high school. And I go back in time and I look at it, and I feel blessed to have been going to that school at that particular time, because people weren't rich, but we weren't poor.
yeah. You're middle class.
We were middle / working class. And it was the perfect storm for me. And then things changed.
Yeah. Now, when I grew up and I was going to high school, we grew up in an area where it was predominantly Hispanic. So I grew up over there by the Five Palms area. Ray Ellison. Went to high school at West Campus.
West Campus, yeah.
And shout out to my boy Angel.
They're the
you know?
Apaches?
Huh?
Were they the Apaches?
No, they were the Cougars.
The Cougars.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we grew up there in that area. It was all predominantly Hispanic. So, I run with the raza, dude. That's how we grew up, man. It was good times, man. I had a lot of fun there. Made a lot of friends. Met a lot of good people.
Well, I'm not going to say that anyone is better or worse than
Yeah.
anything else, but what I am kind of just alluding to is the fact that, I think sometimes if you are all with just one type of people, whether it be all white, all Hispanic, all black, you kind of get a skewed view as to how things work. And it's difficult sometimes later on in life when you're 22, 25, 40 years old to make friends because you don't identify because you haven't grown up with them.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that I kind of felt like I had a really good crew there. I mean, I look back and I see my friends that I talked to from high school from back in the day, and African American represented, Asian represented, white represented, obviously Hispanic represented. It was predominantly Hispanic. It was maybe 50-60%, but it was not 99%.
Yeah. I think the one thing that helped me though, like even though I grew up in an area that was predominantly Hispanic and whatnot, we didn't have a lot of money. We were poor as shit because my mom was a single mom growing up, right? So I always had to work a lot to help provide and help pay for bills and whatnot. I had to buy my own clothes. I had to buy my sister's clothes for school and shit, and I didn't get mad at it. It was just life, it was all good. But one of the things that helped me kind of like introduce me to a new, let's say, a group of people, well-rounded people from all over the place. You're talking not just Mexicano or white, any of that kind of stuff, but people from all over the world. I was good with technology. I was good at learning, computers and all this other stuff, which, I put to use now. That's my profession. But the one thing that really helped me when I was in high school was they had this summer program. If you wanted to, you could apply. If you get accepted, you would have your first job. Like my first job, I never worked in fast food. I was going to West Campus, right? I was like maybe 15, 16 years old. I applied for that, application or that program that they had. My first job, I was working at Kelly Air Force Base.
Oh, wow.
I went in there and I, did some work for them in the summertime. They liked what I did. So I was asked to come back the next summer. They liked what I did the next summer. So after I graduated, I went straight in, and we call it civil service, where I was now hired by the military, and I was working at Security Hill. I had a top secret clearance. I had all this stuff. So I worked there until they shut the place down.
Yeah, my dad worked there at Kelly. He was a sheet metal worker over there. And I remember going over there to, bring your kid to work day and all that stuff. My family was primarily from the Barrio growing up. I mean, we're talking 36th Street and 90 in that area. My sisters grew up there. I'm the youngest of 5, and I'm the only boy. And it wasn't until later on in life when I was born, my parents, were able to move to the Holmes area.
Yeah.
So it was out of the Barrio. And so, but every Sunday and every Saturday, and so we'd be back over there because we went to a church in the Las Palmas area. I mean, it's the closest shopping center that I can think of to that area. So I would hang out over there, and it was I made friends over there, and it was cool. And that's why I would go to Camargo Park, or we'd go to various places like that. I tell this to my kids right now, is that my kids will not experience the hardships that their parents or their grandparents have. I look at my parents, right? Like my parents, I mean, they were middle school dropouts. My mom became the first person in our family to get a college degree. So she got her GED, went to school, and it took her 20, 30 years, but she got a college degree from UTSA. My dad worked civil service, retired, worked at Edgewood School District for many years. And he retired from Kelly because he didn't want to go to Tinker when they moved up to Tinker. I'll never know the life of I didn't grow up rich, but I didn't grow up poor. We had enough. We had Fred's fish fry every Friday, which meant that I didn't eat because I hated Fred's fish fry.
Hey, that shit's good, man. Come on.
That's gross, man. I'm more of a Luby's fish kind of guy. When Luby's wasn't much, right? But I look at it right now, and I look at my daughter, Gabby. Gabby graduated from college at LSU. She was able to focus on her schooling and do all that she needed to do. She graduated at the age of 20. She has no student loans because her mom and me and the scholarships all combined to pay it off. And she'll never know the hardship that I had, because I had a little bit of a hardship, but not a lot. And I'll never know the hardship that my sisters had, because they grew up in the body up until middle school, high school. And I'll never know the hardship that my parents had. And then Gabby's grandparents came over from the Philippines, and they had to move to a new country, didn't know much English and all that stuff. And it's so foreign to think about the hardships that they had and how easy I have it and my kids have it. Someone told me this yesterday. She told me, a friend of mine, Val, told me yesterday. She was like, you're getting what you deserve, right? In the sense that I had my biggest year ever in business last year. The second biggest year was the year before, and now I'm having an even bigger year than the prior 2 years.
Yeah.
And she was congratulating me. She goes, "You're getting what you deserve in a good way." And I was like, really not. I'm being blessed right now. But if I do work a lot of hours, working in finance and all that stuff. But if you ask me, do I work quote unquote hard? I stopped working hard a long time ago. I work smart. And there's a big difference between the two, because I've been in the industry for 18, 19 years. And I look at it, and I look at how blessed I've become from a professional standpoint. And it's something that my parents look at, and they think to themselves, that's why they work so hard, was to see me succeed.
Yeah.
And I worked and made money to see my daughter succeed. And it's kind of like letting it forward. And if there's anything I can say about it is that it's all about expectations. And I tell my daughter, she got a college degree because we expected it from her. And I think that there needs to be higher expectations than our own. And we have to keep building and standing on top of the shoulders of the ones that created. The problem that we have, though, in society is that, and I know Chris Rock, the comedian, would oftentimes allude to it, that there are times where there's people in the society that want to bring other people down. If someone is getting out of the neighborhood, if someone is getting out, I mean, I made this comment with John Dyer the other day.
Yeah.
John Dyer is so proud of Exit 7, right?
Yeah.
Does he live in Jay?
I don't know.
No. Do I live in Holmes? I'm proud to be a Holmes Husky. No.
Yeah.
We eventually move out of our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
But there's so many people who want to keep everybody there, keep everybody quote unquote down, And I know this is kind of a stream of consciousness that I wasn't thinking about, but at the end of the day, to be a good parent is to have expectations. You have kids that are going to college, one looking at Texas Tech and other schools.
Yeah.
They're doing well because you did well for them. It's because you provided for them. You provided this house. You provided the opportunity. Your hard work is being built on. You're the foundation for those kids.
Yeah.
And they'll never know what you know. They'll never live the life that you lived.
Yeah.
They're not playing on the basketball courts that you did growing up. You know what I'm saying?
They don't have to.
And it's all about bettering ourselves and getting out and getting better and improving. Nothing wrong with staying back in the hood. Nothing wrong with that. But there needs to be some sort of like build up for our people.
Yeah. The thing is, like, no matter where you go, what you do in life, or how successful you are, just don't ever forget where you came from. That's all it is.
Yeah. John reaches out to us and says, at the end of the day, we got to do better for our parents who worked hard for us, and we got to do better than them.
Yeah.
And that's the moral of the story. That is the moral story. It's been a fun show, man.
Yeah. We went deep today.
I really enjoyed today's show. This is me bearing my soul.
You have a soul?
Superman.
You have a soul?
Of course I have a soul, because I'm a saint.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. This has been a fun show. Hey, thank you, everybody, for taking part. If you want to buy us a coffee, QR code's on the top right. You can be part of the show by, tipping us, if you will. Helps pay for the equipment and stuff like that. We would appreciate that. On top of that, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the like button on the way out.
Yeah.
Don't forget to follow Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. And don't forget, for your concrete needs, MCS General Contracting, Leha, baby. Our guy.
Concrete in the business.
Hardest concrete in the business. And I actually need him back at my house to to look at some of the concrete stuff that I got going on.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Sweep the League's going to be having their show in the afternoons. So go ahead and join them back here on this network here from 2 to 3:30 p.m. today.
Jonathan C. with this quick little $2 tip here on the super chat. Taco Martinez for the win. Dude, have you been at Tacos Martinez?
I've been to Taco Martinez.
Dude,
before.
I don't know how they pass the health code. I love that place,
Shit's
man.
Good, man.
You walk in there, it's like a Luby's cafeteria type of thing.
Yeah.
And I swear they don't wear gloves there. And they shake your hand as you're going through. Oh my God, it's so disgusting, but it's delicious, dude.
Chris Leja, I think we're right now at like 671 or 672.
Yeah, we're up about 40 this year so far.
Yeah.
So once we get to 1,000, we'll
Dunk
do
booth.
something. Dunk
Dunk
booth or
booth,
something.
baby.
Although I will say I want to switch it up. Maybe not the animals. I do have a son that has special needs. Down Syndrome Association of San Antonio is also a good foundation as well.
Could do something.
We'll do something. Maybe split it off a little bit. Very
Down
nice.
with that, dude.
Everyone have a great weekend. I got to get to work. Joe, enjoy your day off. Everyone, thank you for participating. My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. This is the Alamo City Sportscast. We love all you guys. Oh, John C. wanted a Joe versus Jimenez 3-point shootout. I'm not saying. You know what? I'll let the people decide who would win that one.
Oh man. Yeah, you'll probably start practicing. I already know you, man. You need a lot of practice, bro. Gonna need a lot of practice.
Man, I haven't shot in a while, dude. I'll be honest with you.
Probably pull up late. Hurt something, dude.
I
We
think-
old already, bro.
I think the last
We
time I
already
shot
old.
a basketball, and I've been on a basketball court refereeing all this year. The last time I shot a basketball, I think I was trying to win a stuffed animal on a 14-foot rim at the carnival.
The carnival.
Yeah.
Damn it, dude. Those oval fucking rims too, man.
Might have to take my boots out for the rodeo. Still here, baby.
All right, fellas.
Y'all have a great weekend, fellas.
Have a good weekend. We'll see you boys on Monday. Peace.